Here we are again. It's the 3 of 3 of 3rd of March. And I'm just thinking here as the lead in's happening. We used to have about a 90-second intro lead in, which would pop up on people's Facebook that had alerts there and give them a chance to line up before I pop up and start talking my rhubarb. But now some people say, oh, it's too boring. They've got all that waiting while they do the replay, when in actual fact you could just zip it in and move it forward, so you get rid of the first 90 seconds and it goes from there. But some people I know like trying to be there and catch me live, because there's a certain reality to watching me on the other end of the screen, I suppose, rather than watching the replay. So g'day John and SV Sienna. The story of Shark 24. I still haven't found out what that's all about. The journey of Shark 24. That must be your boat, a Shark 24. That's cool. Maybe it's 24 feet. That's cool. So anyway, here we are, and this one will be not so long, maybe, because I've still got lots to do. We're only here for one more day. We clear out after tomorrow, so lots going on, and the boats are moving really fast, all those sorts of issues. So, but there's some fun stuff happening, which we'll get into. I'll try and keep it towards the end when there's more people here. But yeah, and I've got to be careful what I say, because some people will be watching. Some of the entrants will be watching, maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, all is good. The journey of Shark. Yes, it is. So it's a Shark 24. I don't know what it is. I'll have to look it up and see what's going on. So that must be your Facebook page. I'll have a look when this is all over and see what it is. So it's funny, over the years you get to know all the boats. I think I know every production boat that's ever been built in Australia, and most of England, and most of a lot of America as well. Yeah, been doing it too long. Okay, I'm going to go straight to the tracker now, and we'll see what happens here, and then I'll come back and answer any questions and stuff. So that's cool. You're on the tracker, I'm on the tracker, and they're all getting very close to Panama. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, look at that. I was about to tell you a funny story, but Origami's just popped up. So Renaud now will be breathing easy. So there you go. But I'll keep that story to the last. That was very funny what's been going on. So Little Wren's not in a good position right now, bordering on sailing away from the mark. He's been getting help with the current, of course, but we'll have a good look at that in a sec. I'm just going to put the snail trails on for all the way through. You can see what's happening there. Boom, boom. But first of all, we'll go back to Gary. You're only looking at a spot on the screen there, but it's currently what is it? It must be late afternoon on Monday. Today's Monday, so he's all set to go tomorrow morning early. So Tuesday morning, Gary's underway. We got a message. Manager filled out the departure form, ticked all the boxes. Everything's operational and topped up. He's got all the water on board. He's got all the bits and pieces, and he's raring to go. So he'll be off, and you'll see him slowly making his way. 1,200 miles. Even if he only did 100 miles a day, it's going to be 12 days behind, which is nothing. That'll put him in about the 15th, and that's 10 days to get organised, get out of the water. By then, a lot of the boats will be across, maybe to the other side, even though we don't know exactly where we're going. But it'll be looking cool, and he'll easily catch up. 10 days on land, doing all bits and pieces. He'll be ready to go with the rest of the fleet on the next leg, the big one. So good on Gary. It's pretty. I really am impressed having 15 boats doing this inaugural MGR. It's very cool. So I'm happy everyone's up for it and still in it and doing all the bits. So that's pretty good. So here we are. So many things to talk about here. I don't know whether to start at the back end or the front end, but let's just or show you the weather first, or the currents, or whatever. It's sort of a bit of a boring blast across the trade winds, but there's still plenty happening, and the sea state's been a bit all over the place. Looking at the social media posts for some of the entrants, they've all had big seas, confused seas. Then all of a sudden it flattens off, and birds on the boats. Jasmine's had more birds, lots of flying fish. Little Wren just today, his photo from Little Wren is going to upset a few of the sailors on the fleet in the future, and even for the future of the MGR, because I saw the photo and thought, why would we do something? And again, I'll leave that conversation till the end. I better write notes so I remember it. Otherwise, you wonder what I'm talking about. Spinnakers. Yes, I've written a note. So that's cool. So coming right to the back, Tracker still stuffing around with the signal. We don't know what's going on there. He's actually got a tracking plot every now and then up on the auxiliary website for him. He's got both trackers turned on at the moment. Sometimes one's popping up and not others, so it's a bit confusing. Anyway, we've got a position for him from 4 o'clock this afternoon UTC, 1600 UTC, I should say, and he's quite happy. Everything's good, so that he'll be about 20 miles up front. So he's in between Peter Punk and Skookum right now. So not quite back end of the fleet, but that's where he was at 1600, doing 4.5 knots. He's super relaxed. He's not stressing anywhere, not trying to drive hard. Popeye, trying to keep up with it. No recent news in the last 24 hours since he sent yesterday. Doing 4 knots, 87-mile day. That's not too bad. A little bit under par, but he's enjoying himself. Skookum the same, 107-mile day, 5.1 knots, so hanging in there. That's all good. And Peter Punk, 5 knots, 121-mile days. That's all good. Can't complain about any of that. Number 2, 5 knots, 110-mile day, but she's relaxing. So I just shared the post up there, and happy to just plod along at 4 knots just with a head sail, and that's fine too, because she reported some big seas, 4 meters on the beam, confused sea state, rocking around, stuff like that. So again, Jessamine is performing better this leg than the previous leg, but certainly not stressing anything. And it is a long way to go, so there's nothing wrong with doing that either. You know, it's take it as it comes and do what you feel comfortable doing. BB doing 4.9 knots, 116-mile days. That's all good. And Sun Bear, 4.4 knots, 118-mile days. This whole group is all doing about 115-mile days, so not too bad, except for Tracker doing no mile days because it's not part of the rack of information there. But anyway, John, 114-mile day, 4.6 knots. The wind's softening off a bit now for the leaders, and it's getting a bit obvious. Argo, 5.1. Oh, having said that, he's got a kick from the current. We'll show that in a minute for sure. 5.1 knots and 137-mile day. I reckon there's a bit of current there. So, but I may be wrong. Little Wren, 115-mile day. He's run out of current and running out of breeze, and he's still got a long way up there. But it's only like 35 miles behind the leader or something. So it's still okay. It's still in touch. Distance to go for Argo. Well, we'll compare the distances in a minute. I'll go for the base information, so there's not too much to absorb when I'm giving you numbers. Little B, 3.8 knots and 123-mile day. So he's slowed down a bit, because if you're doing that sort of average, you're not getting 123 miles a day. So it must be slowing down quite fast now. Immortal Gain, 4.6 knots and 127-mile day. He put a post up. I think I shared it. Yeah, I did. Talking about his forestay. Apparently there's a problem with what he calls forestay, or it's a forestay issue going on. And apparently it was resolved with a spinnaker halyard or something, or another halyard. I don't know whether that's to keep holding the mast up, or whether he wanted to set another sail and bolt that down and then hank a sail to the halyard and then pull that up as well. I had no idea. So we'll find out soon. But he put a post up there and I shared it. 127 is pretty cool for the distance, though. Captain Coconut still plodding along. Didn't win this one. You could try the next one. Origami, 4.2 and 121-mile days, which isn't a huge amount, but it's okay. The wind is softening off. And Renaud, 4.4, 118 miles. Okay, so there you go. That's probably why he was sweating a bit, because I took a series of messages. He's probably listening to this from Renaud. What's going on? Where's Origami? He's not on the tracker. He's gone dark mode. You know, not so good. You know, I got to know where he is. Can you tell me where he is? All this stuff. So he was panicking because he went offline. When was it? Earlier today. I forget. I'll have a look on the messages, but it must have been. Hang on, I'm going to have a quick look right now. What was it here? Renaud. He went off air at 8 o'clock this morning. He hadn't been up, so he missed a few position reports. And I think Renaud was stressing a bit much because you can see he's slowing down. There's just not much wind there. If we look at the wind graphic here, this is 5 to 10 knots. So if he's got everything up, obviously doing 4.4 knots, the sea would be dropping right off. Let's just have a look at the sea state. So waves, yep, it's way under a meter, so it's calming off. And then we look at the currents. This will be a surprise. Yeah, that's the other thing. So the sea may be up a little bit because even with that light wind, it's wind against the current. Now look at Origami. Jeepers, this is a disaster. That's why he's only doing 4.2, because there's a good knot and a bit there. So all of these guys are going to have challenges. Look at Little Wren up the top there, sitting in the current. So this is probably 5.5 knots without with little breeze. That's pretty good. Now wherever he goes, as he's followed that round really well. I was thinking he was still a bit high, and he needs to get cranking now to come down. And I don't think he's going to win, obviously, but it was a bold move, and it's a good move. Something else to think about. Wherever he goes now, coming down to Panama, he's absolutely got the current going with him, and that could create smoother seas and so on, but he's got a fair way to go. So just to do it with the graphic here, the distance is showing is 134 miles to the finish. So there's 134 miles there, and he's got a lot better angle, say, than Little B. Little B's got 94, near enough. So he's 40 miles behind. Let's see what the difference is between Little B when he gets into Panama compared to Little Wren. So at the moment, Little Wren is 40 miles behind Little B, and I reckon he'll drop that back to about 10 miles behind Little B, maybe 20 miles. So, and to pick up 20 miles in these little boats is quite a lot, and I reckon he'll do that. I reckon you'll see Little Wren ending up about 20 miles behind Little B, but we'll see. So Little B's probably thinking of staying on the top of this current here, but certainly the guys in the middle, Captain Coconut, Immortal Gain, is down in the middle, in the thick of it, and Origami is absolutely in the thick of it. He would have been better off at that point to come down in here and try and squeak along the coast and then zip out, but that creates all sorts of issues with this is current, not wind. So if we hang on, I'll go to the wind overall in a minute. So all of these boats are now coming into head currents. Argo's going to have it on the nose. John's got it on the nose. Sunbear's got nothing there at the moment. Peter Punk and the others are getting pushed sideways. Then they've got no current, but as they close, they'll have current. So you can see what's happening there. And Little Wren, well, he's got the current going with him, but is he too far from the course? Who knows? So we'll get rid of that. Come back to the wind. Yeah, you can see there's very little wind there. So I should get onto windy, but I reckon this is 5 to 10 knots for the leaders in here. And it's not a lot, but it'll be cutting the sea up a bit, maybe. So all quite fun for sure. And Renaud, distance to the finish, only 64 miles. We'll see what it's saying there. It's 139. Yeah, I said about 140. So that's okay. Origami, distance to the finish, is 92, and Renaud is 64. So 28 miles behind. So still pretty cool. 1,200 miles, and he's only been like 25 miles behind, and they're both going hell for leather. But having said that, Origami has really had one hand tied behind his back, and if it was his good hand, he's in trouble. No wind vane. Hopefully the electric autopilot's still been going, and it looks like it has because he's still sailing a straight course. So whenever he goes to sleep, the autopilot looks as if it's been in control, because if he had to go to sleep without it, it's going to be challenging, to say the least. So there'll be a good story coming there. Okay, I think that's about all I can tell you here. We've seen the current on bits. Is it good days? We'll try the clouds. Come on, fellas. No clouds coming. Anyway, okay, that's fine. just a few clouds, mainly sunny, a bit hazy, a bit overcast, but it looks, this is pretty open. This is pretty open, some with light clouds there. So shipping's been the big issue. They've all had ships. They've all come close. Jasmine, if you haven't read her post, it's worth a read, because it got very confusing with her. With lights on the ship, they couldn't define the navigation lights. She couldn't work out where the ship was going, and she made the wrong course corrections based on her assumptions. And then they turned all the lights out on board so that she could see what was going on. It's a very interesting story. But a few of them are talking about shipping, and that's only natural because they're heading to Panama. What can I tell you? Someone asked a question last night, just as we signed off. I'd already signed off and I saw it popped up there. Was it the night before, about how long it takes to get across to the other side? Driving in the car, it'll be a couple of hours probably. Just to give you an idea on this map, here's the canal. They come in here and they cut through the lake, and then they chop in there and they come out there. So it pretty much goes through there. But in the car, you've got there's some bridges and bits, but it's 35 miles across the top here. So I reckon by the time, there's 36 miles across there. So it's about 60, 70 kilometres, but then all the winding roads and this, that, and the other, and going slow. It's going to be a couple of hour drive. So we'll be able to easily do, each trailer will do one boat a day, allowing for time for the travel lift to load, strap it all down, take it across, unload, put it in the water, and then done. And they drive back and get ready to go another one. So one boat a day per trailer is about it. And as soon as we get there, we'll be sorting out, first of all, Flamenco Marina here to see what we can do about berthing. In fact, while we're here, I'll just talk about that. I'll change the view and I'll go to satellite. Okay, so that comes up, and then I'll push it down and I'll describe what's going on the other side. In fact, I'll show you both sides. This was going to be a short one because I've got a lot of work to do, but I'll show you exactly what's happening here. Here we go. So you can see all the ships here in the harbour. There's the entrance. There's the finish line. This is a huge breakwater, and Flamenco Shelter Bay Marina is just in here on the bottom left, and then this is a massive breakwater that comes all the way out here. And then from Cologne side, this is Cologne over this side, the city. There is a breakwater that comes right out here as well to shelter everything. They've got two passes, one there and there. That's the finish line. So as soon as they cross that, they come in here and they keep sailing down here to Shelter Bay Marina. And this is what that is. You can all do this on yourself on the map if you want. Is that clear enough? Yeah, it's coming up pretty clear. I'm assuming you can see that. So this is all the marina berths here. Here's the hard stand. They've got a travel lift that they launch from over here and take their boats across. So, and then there's hotel, swimming pool, bits and pieces. Customs are going to do their bit here. So that'll be home to get them organised and get them going. And this is the best place to do work and bits and pieces. And then we've got to head out down these roads here. This is a bit of an airstrip here as well. Private airstrip or something, or working airstrip, not sure what. And that's the road out. Okay, so that's that one. And then to have a quick look at the canal and so on. Boom, boom. Here we go. So that road winds its way around here, comes across here. There's a bridge there, and then the main drag going across to Panama City is on the other side. There's one link of one component of the canal right there. This is the road that you got to go down across that way. Ships in the canal are going through the lake up the top, and then you get right across the side here. I've got to make it smaller now to work out where I'm going. There's the canal up here. Okay, so this is, you come out of the lake there, get in the canal here, and you go down the last little locks there. That's Panama City up the top, and this is where we're going to be, down on this island here. It's like an isthmus. There's a road that goes out there. This is where we want to be, I should say. This is where we want to be. This is Flamenco Bay Marina. In here, the Flamenco Bay dry stack is just there, underneath that island. And then if there's no room in here, there might be room back around here. This is an anchorage here. Okay, so you can anchor your boat in here anywhere you want. So if there's no room in there and no room in there, you could try anchoring here. And if that doesn't work, there is another yacht club down here. There's a yacht club in here, and it's another recognised anchorage as well. So there's a few options. So it might be that the tenders come in handy and the boats are anchoring out or whatever. And then for start day, this might surprise you. Uh, the the start line. Well, this is how best to describe it. This is the car park and the travel lift area. We're going to start the race from up here. So wherever the boats are, they've got to make their way to the car park, and then we'll all make a toast to John Guswell at a set time, and then they can go wherever they want to go to get back on their boat and sail away. There is a technical gate across here, which is the start line. You'll see on leg 2. There's a red line going there, and technically they cross that line and they go. It's just a technical start line. They don't have to cross that line. If they're not in here somewhere, tucked in the back edge of this pontoon or whatever, they could be anchored here. They don't have to come back here. They cross over the road, get in their tender and row across to their boat and set sail. Because when you've got, 4,000 miles and very fickle winds in some of it, the length of it, leaving an hour later or something like that, it's not going to make any difference at all, really. So that's why we're having a Le Mans start. But anyway, that's where the action is. 3 choices. They'll be there, in the anchorage there, or the anchorage up by the yacht club up here. So anyway, I digress. So back to say good day. If you're still there, yes, still here. Okay, yeah, so a bit of an unorthodox start line. So here's the deal. I'll just pass you a couple of messages. This is the message I got from, I shouldn't say too much because he sent the race director the message and I don't have to go bits and pieces, but he was concerned that and thought that maybe Origami had gone dark ship and didn't want to know anyone where he was. And maybe he was cutting in up the coast and maybe Renaud was going to get lost in the woodwork and be overtaken by Origami. So I've got a couple of messages here. Oh, cool. From Canada on Friday. Someone offering to maybe get the whale books. I'll see. Okay. A message from Arzu, that's Ayrton's manager, that everything is really good. He's very happy. And he's just using his sat phones now because the Starlink for some reason not kicking in. Okay, quick questions and then we'll be out of here. If I got the top, I'm definitely going to look at what a Shark 24 is. Hey, John, I love you. I am. Hello, I am. Okay. Yes, it is. Oh, maybe. I'm not sure what that is there. That's I am. Says that. I don't know. That's a good call sign. Keep talking about your rhubarb. Yeah. Actually, well, you mentioned rhubarb, not me. I don't know whether you've ever seen it, but there's a movie, and the only words in the movie is called rhubarb. I saw it when I was about 25, I think it was. And I think the movie is called Rhubarb. And so the whole feature film, it was in a cinema. You sit there and watch this movie, and all they talk about is rhubarb. And rhubarb's a vegetable, as you know, like you can have it sweet or sour or whatever, but and so the guy meets, he's going to go rhubarb. It's a very amazing movie. Anyway, it's an Australian slang term as well, so a lot of rubbish you score. What a load of rhubarb. Keep talking about your rhubarb. Kerry is swinging north. If he was south, be out of the currents. Yeah, that's true. But he's going to get head currents now. The current's going right on the nose. I'd rather stay a little bit on the edge of it. So who knows? G'day, Adrian. Bill Mead. How's it done? Could listen to you talk only forever. Okay, thanks. The other day you mentioned Servo Pendulum being the better vane for 580 design. Can you explain why? Just curious and learning. Thanks. Well, basically, when you've got a fin keel design boat, that's a hull with a very long, skinny keel with a lead bulb, right, and the rudder right at the back, it's super maneuverable, right? So you can push the tiller across and it just shoots around this way or that way. And that's what you see, all the extreme racing boats, like all the bigger boats, they'll actually, they're really maneuverable for tacking and everything around the buoys and so on. So when you've got a boat that's able to move fast like that, it's good to get quick, fast actions from your wind vane. Okay, and so a servo pendulum system is very quick, it's very powerful, and it's maybe better suited to a fin keel boat, fast maneuverable one, than an auxiliary rudder system like the hydrovane. Now, I like the hydrovane. and I believe there is a place all the time for a servo pendulum system. And my favourite servo pendulum system is the Aries, but it's a bit heavy for a 580. And my favourite auxiliary rudder system is the Hydrovane. With an auxiliary rudder system, you're actually not normally using the ship's rudder. You just hold it there, and then this other little rudder on the wind vane is actually moving, and steering the boat. So it's a little bit softer reaction, because it's not utilizing the full size of the rudder. If you've got a big boat, it has a little auxiliary rudder at the back. It gets a bit confusing with the 580 because the Hydrovane rudder and the Hydrovane system is so big in comparison to the boat that the rudder is as big as the 580 rudder. The Hydrovane rudder is as big as the 580 rudder. So that's adds a fair bit as well. But you pay some weight penalty for that and a few other bits and pieces as well. So certainly I'm quite happy to say that quite okay to say that a servo pendulum system will meet all the requirements and have a lot of power developed by the servo blade in the water. It's not steering the boat, it's just paravaning to the surface, and there's ropes connected to the other end of it, and those ropes pull the tiller and steer the boat. So they've both got a pretty good application for the 580 for sure. G'day, Hardy Skookum fan. How's the finish line set up? I just showed you the finish line. There you go. I preempted. I knew what you were going to ask. So the finish line is just between the port and starboard entry beacons. There's lights there at that gap between the two huge breakwaters that take into the Panama anchorage. It's like an anchorage where the ships anchor until they get their time slot to go through the canal. So a very simple finish line, and then they've got lots of room to maneuver and so on. What's your travel plans to Panama? We leave here at 5:20 we leave here, walk out the gate at 5 o'clock in the morning, not tomorrow, the next day. And then we head into Paris, and then we fly from Paris to London, I think, again. And then we go London to Panama. I think that's right. Yeah. I'll leave all that to Jane. But we go direct from London to Panama, get in late afternoon on the same day, late afternoon on the 6th, and then grab the car and then drive across to Cologne. So we won't be there until late, I think 6 or 7, and then 8 and 9. Late on the 6th, we get there. So we'll probably go to the marina and say good day if anyone's around. Otherwise, we'll be there the next day. And most of the boats a big chunk of the boats will be finished. But that's life. We do the best we can. And I mucked up there. They're moving faster than what I thought, but then I wasn't thinking either. We could have been there earlier, but there you go. Okay, we need a Captain Coconut chase boat tour. Just saying. I hear he has a bank safe door on board. I hear he has a bank safe door on board. Oh, that's his watertight bulkhead. Yeah, it's a beauty. That's under GGR situation around the world. He's faced some pretty serious stuff on that boat. The first time we went in Cape Horn, he had I think it was four low pressure systems in quick succession. Every one of them was over 70 knots, and one went up to 90 knots. It was just crazy. He just got hammered, and it was all in those four within about 8 days or something. It's crazy. So anyway, and we were planning to have a group of boats. I've mentioned it before, to follow the 580s around just for fun, just to have some people going around in bigger boats and stuff. But in the end, it didn't happen. We got too busy. Dan, did Josh get his electric outboard? He actually had it on board all the time. So when we saw Josh coming down, I knew he left with a petrol outboard, and I knew he arrived with a petrol outboard, and you've probably seen the live. I said, I wonder what he's going to do there, because I didn't know there was any for sale in Antigua, but he actually had it on board. So as soon as he got there, he donated his petrol outboard to the Sailing Academy, and they were happy to get that. And he pulled out his electric outboard. So there you go. It was on board all the time, which is cool. Sienna, Chris Salmon, look up Sam Holmes. He just did a boat tour with Captain Coconut. Oh, yeah. If you want to know what the boat is like, Sam Holmes is another YouTuber, and he's a cool dude. He's got a great style, great presence, and I like the way he talks and stuff. And I don't follow him. I don't really follow anyone, but I often look at his posts, his program. So when I say I don't follow anyone, I do on YouTube. I relax there sometimes and I go bits and pieces, but I don't regularly follow stuff. But I first caught up with Sam online, watching his videos probably maybe even 2 years ago. I'm not sure. Interesting guy. Great style, very entertaining stuff. So yeah, Sam Holmes, and he just did a big chat with Coconut all about the boat and what he was doing and stuff like that. So pretty cool. And he was impressed with the 580s as well, as he mentioned a few things. So really, I missed it. Are they sailing through the Panama Canal or tracking over? We've actually got a guy there now who is modifying 2 trailers. So there'll be 2 trailers because they're trailer boats. You put them on here, you just have your own trailer, put it on and go wherever. So we've now got 2 trailers being modified. We'll pull them out of Shelter Bay Marina on the travel lift with the mast already down. So they'll pull the mast down while they're in the marina. Three people can pretty simply undo the rigging and lower the rig down, put it on deck, strap it on. So when it's like that, you then motor over the travel lift, pick it up in the boat, pick up the boat rather, the trailer's in the travel lift and just lowers it down, set it on the trailer, strap it down. Oh, the guy who was asking the other day, how do the crew get across? I'm assuming and I'm hoping that we can put them in the car to go with the boat. So when they're on the other side, they've got to lift across. We've got a car, but I don't know whether, we've got a car all the time we're there, but I don't want to be going back and forwards with the boats all the time, but that may be the case as well. We'll wait and see. But hopefully we can put the skipper in the towing car. And then on the other side, there's a dry stack where you bring your boats up and you put them in racks, right? It could be a 25-foot powerboat, and they have a huge forklift with a big drop and a big lift. So they can drive it to the edge of the wharf and then just lower the boats right down, 2-3 meters down into the water. So the plan is to use that forklift to put the relaunch on the other side, and then they motor away and put the rig up and so on. But we haven't confirmed anything on the other side yet other than that process. So we got them into the water, and when I get there, we'll be talking to the people at Flamenco Bay Marina and see if they've got the chance to look after some of the boats there. Support. Okay, really appreciate your support and assistance with berthing in Panama. Thanks, Brenda. Yeah, we just got to play it by ear. It's too hard to organise anything because it is peak season and every yacht turning up is in the same boat. On the Pacific side, it's a bit of I call it a nightmare, but just many marinas don't allow you to make a booking because it doesn't work for them. If you book a day and you don't turn up, who pays, so they just keep taking bookings. And if there's a spot when you walk in the door, they say, yeah, sure, you can go just there. If there's not a spot, they say, sorry, go away. So do you guys with the hydrovane also have to carry the original rudder? No, not at all. It's up to the skipper. If they want to set it centrally, we haven't specified they have to carry the rudder, and I don't think John or Popeye are carrying the rudder. Ayrton, Renaud and Holiday Dan all have both rudders there. So I think that's the only 5 that got them. Oh no, Jasmine's got a hydrovane as well, and I don't think she took her rudder. I think she left it behind. I may be wrong. I forget now. Fabian, do the guys with we've gone through that. Fabian, could you maybe at some point also talk about emergency steering and the class rules about that? Thanks for the updates. Yeah, there is a requirement to have emergency steering. Okay, and the most common way for that, and the only realistic way, is to use a drogue and cross to the transoms. So you if you had a problem with the steering, so your rudder failed or something like that, if you've got your 580 rudder and a hydrovane, it's very easy because the hydrovane is an emergency rudder. It has its own separate tiller, and you could steer the boat quite easily using the hydrovane as emergency rudder. If you've got the hydrovane central, amidships, without the ship's rudder, without the 580 rudder, and you lost it for some reason, you would have to have emergency steering. The idea of having an oar or a paddle and things like that, it just doesn't work. It's just too flimsy, goes nowhere. But you can actually steer the boats reasonably well using a drogue with a bridle that goes into the quarters. And if you pull the one side of the bridle in, it moves the pull point, say, to the starboard quarter. And so you've got this constant drag on the starboard side, and it'll actually pull the boat around to starboard, right? And if you want to go to port, you shift it across, you just ease off the bridle and bring it across and tighten it in on the other side, and it's on the port side. And so then with that pulling the transom, it'll actually come across and steer to port. That's the general principle, and it is a requirement to have a plan and practice that a little bit to see how it goes. You could actually carry, I know Michael in the first Transat basically had 2 dinghy rudders instead of the dagger boards in the bottom. They were kick-up rudders, and you could easily set something up on that to act that as a separate rudder as well. Use bits and pieces on board. But yeah, you have to show you can actually have emergency steering. Okay, I think we're done. So thanks for that. We'll be back again tomorrow night. That'll be the last one for a day, and then we'll get there. But it's what we didn't do. I'm just going to take you back. We didn't look at the ETA. Sorry. So I'll take you back to the tracker, and we'll just quickly look at the leaderboard. Oh, I'm there, but you're not. Hang on, I went the wrong way about that. So I'm going to put you back onto the tracker here, and then I go onto the tracker, and then I'm not worried about the picture there. I'm just going to show you the leaderboard here and give you some ETAs. So I might go for the current, so recent VMG, which will give us an indication. So this is now okay, so this is now going to be finishing times in GMT, and the current GMT, it's now 10 o'clock here, so it's 9 o'clock, so that's 12, it's 2100, so 2100 time in Panama. Hang on, I forget now. We're about jeepers. What do we got? So it's currently 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Panama, and that's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's now 9 o'clock, so 6 hours behind. So you've got to take 6 hours off this result. I'll come back here. So Capuchine is talking about the 4th at 10 o'clock. Take 6 hours off. That's 4 o'clock in the morning. So he could, anyway, we'll wait and see what happens. He can go through the gap at night time, because it'll be dark then, obviously, be 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'd say we could count on, he's going to slow down. So it'll be 5 o'clock in the morning. He might be there just at dawn, something like that. Origami is showing 4 and a bit hours behind him, so he will be there first light, early in the morning on the 4th, which is which is still a little bit away. So that's early morning on the 4th. Then Little B is a few hours behind that, so he's probably going to be lunchtime on the 4th. Immortal Gain, right behind Little B. They're just minutes apart, so that's going to be fun. Then Little Ren sometime around midnight or so on the 5th. We've got Argo. There must be some different times here. Why is Argo there on the 4th and 5th? 115, 137. Oh, yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. There's a bit of a problem there. That's wrong. Argo's ETA is wrong. Oh, maybe, no, I know why, because it's the speed. He's doing fast speed there, 5.7 knots. So at that rate, he's going to be coming in ahead of Little Ren, but it hasn't registered. So this is getting very complicated. Anyway, then it goes down the line. So sometime on the 5th and 5th. So just to see where we are, if we're going to see any of these guys arrive, it's going to be boom, 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 jeepers. We might get Popeye if we're lucky. If we're lucky. Crazy. Anyway, we'll see. But it's been an interesting ride. I mean, it's a bit of a short sprint, so it's not the epic like it was coming across the Tasman. But nonetheless, I wish we were there, but we're not going to be there. So we'll sort out the best we can and see how it goes. So I'll just come back here now just to see. I think we're done with the question. Yeah, okay, that's it. So we'll see you all again tomorrow night. Thanks a lot. See you later.
Witness history in the making. The McIntyre Mini Globe Race